Back here on Sports Overtime, as always on Sunday nights, joined by Jane Bos, the Grandpa's Press, as we talk high school football, getting down to the real nitty-gritty of the high school season. I guess the first thing I want to throw at you, surprised, we had a couple of area unbeatens out of the OK Conference, Kellogg'sville and West Catholic, each unbeaten, each really looking good heading into this, each getting knocked out this weekend.
Yeah, they both lost, but you know, at this time of the year, anyone can beat anybody. That's going to happen again this week.
Some great matchups, and let's take a look at starting Division I, and we'll just work our way down with what we'll see in this coming round of the playoffs on Friday and Saturday. And in Division I, it's Holt at Rockford. Obviously, the Rams unbeaten. Holt's lone loss, of course, comes to the Rams. Jane, talk about that matchup and what's really become a theme for Rockford with 3 straight teams now that will have to beat twice in one season.
I talked to Ralph Munger today, and he said that that's what is the weirdest thing he's ever had in his life. He said no one's ever done that before. Had to beat 3 teams in a row for the second time each. They beat Holt in week 2 34-10. Now obviously that's a huge margin. I think Holt is a different team, but Rockford's a different team too. I think this is going to be a fun matchup to watch again and again.
Now, we have to give Jane props. You could tell her voice not really with her, battling laryngitis. That's why we're talking slow, to make sure the voice doesn't crack. But so thank you for putting up with that. Now Holt won a playoff meeting with these two schools in 2007, 35-28. Rockford wins the regular season meeting this year, as you mentioned, 34-10. How tough do you think for Coach Munger and his staff to try to get these kids up week after week after week? I mean, they know what's at stake, but you got to beat Kentwood twice. You got to beat Grand Haven twice. Now you got to beat Holt twice. So I mean, it's almost like more of like a mental game at this point.
Well, it is, but this coaching staff understands what they have to do. They have won a regional final game 5 of the last 6 years, except for that one 2007 Holt beat them. I mean, this staff definitely knows what they're doing.
Let's look at Division II now, and a big matchup. Portage Central 10-1 draws the task of going to Lowell to meet the Red Arrows, who are also 10-1. Of course, Lowell and Noel Dean coming off that big win over Muskegon a week ago. Talk about this matchup.
Well, I was at the Lowell Muskegon game, and it was really exciting for the Red Arrows to finally beat Muskegon. It's the 3rd time they played, right. 3rd time in the playoffs. It was the first time they beat him. And Lowell played great, led by Gabe Dean, the sophomore quarterback, who people say, oh, he's just a sophomore. Well, at what point is this kid going to be like a super sophomore? I mean, he was amazing. He was calm, cool, collected. He was tough. He was like steel. He was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I was impressed with him the other night as well. And not only did they get the victory, but the 2 other times that they met in the playoffs, they were both unbeaten, and Muskegon won and then went on to win a state championship. So, yeah, definitely a little revenge factor there for Lowell. A little tidbit of information. Portage Central going to be playing Caledonia also coming up, against Lowell. But Portage Central's only loss this season was to St. Joe's. Lowell's only loss was to East Grand Rapids. Those 2 teams, Portage Central and East, meeting in Division III. You like that?
Something weird here.
You like that? All the planets aligning. And so here you go with Division III. So you got St. Joe's at 9-2 on the road, coming to East Grand Rapids to take on the unbeaten Pioneers. Pete Sturzman's crew doing it yet again. They are 11-0. Any way anyone can stop East.
Well, we say every year that someone could stop them sometime, somewhere, somehow, but I'm not sure who it's going to be, and I'm not sure when it's going to happen, because East Grand Rapids is tough. They have everything going for them. They have big tight ends. They have a tough defense. They have a quarterback who knows what they're doing. They have one of the best secondaries I've ever seen in a high school football team. This is a great team.
Talk about our Division IV matchup in Holland Christian, of course, coming off a huge win to 9-2 now. Dry, another unbeaten in 3 Rivers at 11-0 Detroit Country Day, also at Marshall. But talk about that Holland Christian team coming off obviously a big win this past weekend.
Well, for a defending state champion, Holland Christian has been the underdog every week, it seems like. No one's picked them to win, and they're not this team favored to win, but here they are, a spread offense playing another spread offense team. This is 2 tough teams. Holland Christian's lost to Hamilton. 3 Rivers beat Hamilton, so there's a lot of weird things going on there too. But as 2 spread offenses going at each other, someone's defense is going to have to step up.
All right, I'm going to buzz through these last 2 divisions here. In Division 5, Berrien Springs are going to be taking on Muskegon Heights in a battle of 9-2 teams. Berrien Springs knocking off Kellogg'sville this past weekend. Muskegon Heights knocked off Morley Stanwood. First 9-win season for the Tigers since 1957. Over in Division 6, Montague still unbeaten. They will be hosting Iron Mountain this coming weekend. Montague now with 17 straight wins. They knocked off Sanford Meridian this weekend, while Constantine is going to be taking on Bronson. Both those schools 9-2. Over in Division 7, Ravenna 9-2. Going to be hosting Merrill. Ravenna knocking off Potterville 54-0. And then a battle of unbeatens, Mendon and Hudson. Mendon knocked off White Pigeon this weekend. Mendon has not given up a point in 2 straight playoff games, and they've got shutouts in 9 of 11 victories this season. And over in Division 8, Muskegon Catholic Central doing it again. Mike Holmes somehow getting his boys ready for the playoffs once again. They're going to be at Colon 10-1. MCC knocking off Climax Scots by 1 point. MCC 3-4 at one point in the season. They won 2 straight wins to get get in the playoffs. Now 2 more in the playoffs. Crusaders and Mike Holmes doing it yet again.
Muskegon area could have the Division 5, 6, 7, and 8 state champion. They play tough football over there.
Yeah, and they had what, Montague last year, Muskegon last year, Oak Ridge last year. Yeah, great county.
Muskegon Catholic Central playing a tough independent schedule as well.
Thanks, Shane.